You're familiar with MyHeritage. You may already have a family tree there, and or you have tested your DNA over there. But are you aware of the new and not so new features that they have to help make sure you are growing a healthy and accurate family tree? We're going to be taking a look at some of those features to make sure that we as researchers are growing the most accurate family tree that we possibly can over at MyHeritage. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you are brand new here, I am Lisa, and this channel focuses on helping you to find your ancestors, build your family tree, and not be overwhelmed in the process. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, let's get to it. Now, we are going to explore 4 of MyHeritage's tools to make sure that we get started building that family tree correctly and avoid the common mistakes. In a previous video, I shared with you how to manage your tree at MyHeritage. Now I'll have a link to it down in the description below, as well as a link to it right up there in that top right-hand corner for you. Now, once you have your tree started at MyHeritage, let's take a look at these features to see how we can make better use of them and make sure we continue to grow that family tree. First up is smart matching. Now let's take a look at smart matching over at MyHeritage for your family tree. So smart matching is actually technology that matches people from your tree, people that you've defined in your family tree, with people that are in other family trees that members from all over the world have created over at myheritage.com. Now, the important thing to remember is the technology is matching your tree to someone else's tree. It is still your responsibility as a researcher to do due diligence to determine if the match that they have suggested is a true match or not. So to find matches, you can go up here to discoveries and you can find the matches by people or by source. So I'm going to click on by people and see what they have here. So it just takes a little bit of time to come through. I'm going to click over here to Smart Matches to see what they found. And we can start to see what I have here. So we have Phoebe Owen, and this is the new information. I can review the 12 matches that they found that she might match with. So I can click on that. And again, this is comparing my Phoebe Owen and my tree to someone else's tree. And so here we have, I can look then at each of the 12 to see if it is the same person and if these individuals are actually matches to my Phoebe. So I can look at this, I can take a peek at this. I need to check and make sure, again, it's on me to determine whether this match is correct or not. If I want to review it further, I might say, yes, this looks like it's a very close match. Let me review further. And then it would take me over so I can get a better look at what facts are there and a better close-up information of what's new and what's not. So that is the power of a smart match. Again, it is comparing the individuals in my tree with the individuals in other family trees at MyHeritage. And then we can work together. And if I had questions about it, I could certainly reach out to their site owner and see if we could resolve or determine if I needed more information, that kind of thing. We can do some collaboration. So there you have it for smart matches. Next up is the consistency checker. Let's take a look at the consistency checker that over on MyHeritage. Now, the consistency checker will help take a look at your tree and make sure that you don't have any errors in your family tree, such as a child being born before the mother was born. So to find that consistency checker, you just go up and hover over Family Tree tab, and you're going to find it in the drop-down box here. So click Consistency Checker. And it's checking your tree to see what's there. Now, I know there are issues because I left them in there for you guys to see. And so here we have this first one where I have Karen Buchanan and her mother being born 15 years apart, which may be too young for Polly to have had her. So I need to go and look at that and take a look at that. Same thing with Flora Buchanan here. looks like her marriage date, they're thinking that she might have been too young. She was 14. And so I need to obviously take a look at that and see if I can correct that, as well as multiple birth facts for the same person. So this is a really helpful um, tool for me to go in and take another look at these individuals, because it could be that my research is off. It could be that maybe I had a typo error. That does happen. So definitely want to use the tree consistency checker when you have that particular ancestor over on when you have that family tree over on MyHeritage. So do you ever have an ancestor in your tree that you're working on, but you're not really sure exactly how they're related to you? The updated relationship report goes way beyond just labeling that ancestor second cousin once removed. It gives you a visual representation along your tree as to how you and that individual are actually related. Let's take a look. Here's a quick look at the relationship report over at MyHeritage. And this is a newly updated feature that they have. So from the family tree, you can find it by hovering over the tab, come down here to more. And when you click on more, you'll see more choices come up, and we have relationship report that shows up. Now, what I love about this is it tells me quickly and in a really nice visual map how I'm related to someone. In other words, what line I go through. So let me just show you. So this is me on the left, and I'm going to put in a distant relative. Let's put in Mary Henrietta Bird. She was born Howard. And so what it tells me is that she is my great grandfather's aunt. Okay. Now I can never remember it straight. So I know on my tree, I can see she goes up through my maternal line, and she is my great great grandfather's sister. So that she is the daughter of my third great grandparents, Caswell Suggs and Mary Adeline Howard. So this is a really nice representation. And for those of us like me who tend to be very visual when it comes to analyzing trees, this is a very helpful feature that MyHeritage has. Now, timelines is another fantastic tool. It is brand new over at MyHeritage, and I am loving it because, if you have followed me for any length of time, I love a good timeline. Lastly, let's take a nice look at the brand new feature of the timelines over at MyHeritage. Again, hovering over that family tree tab, we can see timeline here in the drop down. It is a brand new feature. We click on timeline, and it creates a nice visual. Now you can change your number of generations here. So maybe I'll say I want to look at 6 generations. Let's see what that looks like. And I love being able just to take at a glance, kind of visually, where people are in my tree. Now, some of what I really enjoy looking at and I find helpful for me is, say, look at this particular grouping here. So I have my settings so that it tells me how old they were when they died. It tells me their birth date, death date, and how old. So I know that this is interesting that Alan Suggs Howard lived to be 96. His son was 103. Here we have someone else who was 71. Here we have another 83 in here. There's actually, here we have his grandson being 89. There is some significant longevity in this line of the family, which is really kind of fun to see. It also tells me when I look at these who have died at the younger years, 42, 51, wonder what was going on there. In this case, for this gentleman here, it was typhoid fever. When it comes to timelines, it lets me look at them at a point in time. And obviously what was happening around them during their lifetime affected how they lived. And these little gray hashes, these indicate world events. So World War I, here we have the Civil War, here we have the War of 1812, here we have the French Revolution. So they have indicated this for us. So I can look down here, and so with the American Civil War, I can look down and go, okay, Caswell Howard, he was probably, he was an adult during that. His son was a child. I can see the women there. If I want to see men, James Lamar Shepherd, there's his wife or his partner, Mary Jane. Calvin Maddox was probably part of the war as well. I can very quickly look down and identify who may have had a role of some sort within that American Civil War. So the timeline gives me that ability to do that very quickly and very easily. Okay, so I would encourage you to play around with the timeline. It is, again, a really nice representation. You can get a good look as to when people were born. You can look at longevity. You can look at what life events were happening, what world events were happening around them. And I think it's going to give you a better perspective on your ancestor within their time frame as well as to each other. Now, if you want to learn more about how to use MyHeritage and to grow your family tree there, make sure you take a look at the videos I have picked out for you on the screen now.